Hello my friends, and as you know I do Taroscopes like on the shift between the signs. So 23rd it's marking from Leo to Virgo. So before I start for all the signs, I just want to wish Virgos happy birthdays and also give you a really quick intro of what's going to consist in this. Just quickly before I start, I really want to thank to everybody for your patience last month. My dad is still at a hospital. He is going to be released this week, which most likely is going to be even more work for me. And so I really ask for your patience this month as well. It looks like next month I should have the new schedule packed down, so it's going to be easier. So without further ado, let me tell you how the reading is going to happen this month. I'm going to do pretty much what I did the last time, last month, but with a twist. We're going to start with a high-level messages from the top down, how the karma is looking at it, what is basically a big picture for you, what are the big messages. This is really important. This is like really teaching you how to fish instead of just giving you the fish. Then I am actually going to move into the tarot part of the reading. So we are going to do the double Celtic cross with the Rain Virtue cards and with my special cat cards. And we're going to see certainly spiritual kind of messages and kind of like what's going around, etc. That's kind of like level down from the top of the mountain. Then we are going to go even lower and we're going to get a little bit of a general reading to see what is happening. And Lenormand is really good tool to kind of like even give timelines. And then we are going to go down and dirty. We are going to use Gypsy and we're going to feel and see all these people around us. And this time I'm going to add a twist and to kind of like really culminate this. At some point in this reading, and I'm not going to tell you when, I'm going to include a question that you can ask yourself. So literally you can pause and ask yourself a question and I'll give you the answer and you'll be able to choose one of the three options, so that way you would really know that answer is catered for you. So there you go. It's a little bit of interactivity. So let me start. Hello Aries, and welcome to your monthlies. I actually wanted to do it last night, but I kind of like was too tired, so I figured, you know what, let's not do it when I don't have the full energy, because you guys are the most energetic sign and I really want to do it like with gusto. And it was kind of like really interesting what I see. I shuffled all the decks. Already have sort of like an idea of what's going to be happening with you, but the very first one was like, whoa, tsunami, are you kidding me? I don't know who else got it. Was it the Scorpio or somebody? But anyway, let me tell you. So I think this means big waves, wake up call. This is what it says. So it is a horrible thing that I have to talk about that, especially now with Houston going on. And I have to tell you, my heart goes to Houston. Maybe you notice, guys, I'm not posting on my Facebook. It just, I cannot bring myself to post like really bubbly messages while these people are suffering. And I'm remote, I'm in Canada. I really don't know what I can do. So guys, give me some ideas. I did send them donation already, and right, that's all I could have done remotely. But you know, I am sending Reiki waves every day. Whenever I kind of like meditate, I do that as well. And I know it's like really not much at all, but at least it makes me feel that I'm helping somehow. So guys, sorry for my diatribe, but at least you know where my head is, right? So now we are talking about your card, Tsunami. I guess Tsunami, including volcanoes, earthquakes, hurricanes, and tornadoes, is one of the scariest and most destructive phenomena, right? The problem with this is like the volume of water kind of like suddenly and rapidly is displaced, right? So it's kind of triggered by the undersea I think earthquake or some kind of disturbance. The plates move and the water falls in literally, right? And this is causing a series of powerful kind of like waves to travel across the ocean, and they're like ridiculously fast, 500 miles per hour, like never mind airplane, right? This is like even 3 times faster than airplane. So on the open ocean, however, the heights of these waves seem very small, and that's why they don't seem to be really highly noticed. And this is the problem with tsunami. And just like what we do, right? Sometimes the trouble is brewing, and there are small things that we say, oh, no, it's okay, I can deal with this. But it does come, right? So these waves that are collectively called a tsunami get close to shoreline, their height increases. And they go, you know, like really, really high, but they also slow down with speed, right? I don't know, like 40, 50, 60 or something like that per hour. And the distance between waves get kind of like on timing between 20 to 30 minutes from wave to wave. So just imagine how long it forms, how long it takes to form, because the water is pulling back for 20-30 minutes and then basically splashing it. So when we see this receding, which is kind of like the key to what I am basically going to say to you about this card, is this is a clear sign of impending tsunami, right? So we actually cannot outrun the wave that's going to follow, but we can actually avoid being swept up in destruction by actually going and moving to the higher ground. So how do we translate this onto our lives? So you guys are getting a wake-up call. These are the small waves that have been brewing and knocking on your door. This in particular, it can be in the form of a significant loss. It could be some other dramatic event in your life. Usually, and I really hope this is not the case, right? I really hope it's going to be a tiny little wave. Usually this kind of like things that happen to us are things that we are not prepared for. You might feel surprised with things that will be happening to you this month. That might be unexpected events that will be occurring, but also you will know it is time to act. You cannot not to act anymore, right? So if you are already experiencing drama, if you're already having something that is coming to you, then the best will be to really deal with this, because otherwise it gets amplified. So the advice is like to deal with the smaller waves before like they come back, right? So just think back to what happened, to what were the signs that kind of like maybe you missed, or maybe you know it kind of triggered that little kind of red light. You know, I usually sit across from people and they talk and talk and talk, and I literally see actually things around them. No, I'm not crazy, but for example, I would see a big red light flashing over their heads if they're lying. So I actually do know that. So very sure that you guys kind of like seen that as well, but you thought, I can handle it. I can tolerate this. So you also have to observe lay of the land. So when tsunami, many animals kind of like just disappear when tsunami is approaching, right? So for you guys, you have to kind of like tune in. You have to go down to the most animalistic instinct over here and activate yourself. This is your wake-up call. You kind of like need to take care of things that maybe didn't work, that maybe were small and aggravating, and you need to prevent these big things to happen. So moving to the higher ground means, okay, take a bigger vision and see what's going on, and let's deal with this once and all, right? Now you're getting into clouds, which was the same card for Aquarians. And shape-shifting, it's basically talking about this kind of small crystals of water in the clouds. So that's how clouds are white on top, right? But on the bottom, depending on the heavy weight of these crystals, sometimes this goes down to rain. So the best part is like when they are shifting from one form to another. And also as me being an amateur photographer, I'm always looking for sunny day with clouds, because then the sky looks spectacular. So this is kind of like telling us that what shape shifting can be, it can come in many forms. So if you have tsunami here, it could be that there is going to be something completely differently looked at. Maybe it is going to come in a form that you're going to change who you are from ground up. Maybe you're just going to change how you look. Maybe you're just going to go for a makeover right after this Mercury retrograde. Some of you might have plastic operation. Some of you might have, what do you call it, Restylane or Botox kind of things to try it out. Simply this is talking about being playful, and simply this is talking about having a different self-expression. Maybe something's even very unusual or not what you had before. Now, the interesting part about that is going to be how the other people will react to you, and which persona is going to react how with the other people. You might be shifting actually quite a few times this month. So this card is saying, wait a minute, shake your head and lift your head up. Clean these things that are happening and figure out new ways. Now this is like simply like buying a car or anything else. Try 2, 3, 4, 5 things, as many as you're willing to try. See what comes back to you. It is strange, it shouldn't be right, but people do judge us by the way we present ourselves. So if you want to have different results, maybe a new image is in store, right? Just think of Marilyn Monroe. Like when she was just a little kind of brunette and not dressing properly, not being this bombshell, she was barely noticed. And then we all know what happened when her image was shifted, and all of a sudden the whole world was crazy about her. So guys, you might feel vulnerable doing that, because of course it's going to feel like being in somebody else's skin, and sometimes you might feel like a sheep and not Aries, that oh my gosh, and maybe I'm following somebody else's idea. But you're going to find your ground. You're going to find who you are. You're going to find higher ground. Remember, here you have to go to the higher ground. And then DNA means holy smoke. Holy smoke, like these three very important. It's karma. And by the way, this is karma card as well. So it's like, oh my God, oh my God. So what is karma? Well, it means action, and it is basically a concept in Eastern religions that talks about laws of cause and effect. I actually defined my own definition of karma. To me, well, of course it can be good or bad on a sort of like ground level, but ultimately it's a part of the soul contract that we kind of write in and agree to live through. We agree to kind of like fulfill certain destiny. We kind of like go through it and kind of like try to learn. And I think this entire life and every religion is pretty much doing the same, saying, yeah, you're going to be rewarded in the afterlife. And I think this is where it stems from. Here, we are here to learn. We actually do find out, and you will find out possibly, or you're going to get hints of what kind of lesson you are here to learn. So what I really like about here, just keep remembering that karma is not punishment. Yeah, sure enough, we can release karmic debts by doing good things, and we can create karmic debts by creating bad things. But also, even though it's counterintuitive, the people who seemingly have the worst life, like murderers, serial killers, I don't know, I don't even want to think about it negatively, but these people imagine what lesson they want to learn if they pick their life like that. It's like picking the cruise. So it's not going to be an easy life. So for something like this, they really, really have to pay off their karmic debt or learn this like really, really big lesson. Now we have these like double helixes everywhere. We see these snakes. So this is meaning like this can be partially biological. Of course, it took many, many generations for us to get where we are, for us to be born. So yeah, surely we are product and kind of being passed down from our parents and grandparents. So we have some kind of ancestry behind it. But there is one thing that is not passed, and that is soul. So soul is the karmic contract, right? So when we see this like two intertwined serpents, like with two double helixes on each side, this is basically archetypal image that you see in many, many cultures. I guess, you know, it is a graphic representation that, you know, we can lay claim to our DNA, but the fundamental substance of life is that soul, which is basically providing us determination of our life path. So guys, this is one of those times. You can kind of like maybe feel the tug of your soul. And you're going to be confused, and hence is the tsunami. It's cleaning up old. Because you're going to figure out that you're meant to be something else, something much bigger, something much higher, much higher, because tsunami is dangerous. So the choices is really going to be up to you. But know that every time that you kind of follow the guidance of your higher self, no matter what kind of like message is coming your way, you're going to elevate yourself. So maybe you can see it as a reward, but it's going to be elevation. So in a sense, you actually can choose this month between destiny and fate. This is really big. I have to say, I do see Scorpio. Scorpio is going through major transformation. Major. It's the second month in a row. But this, for them, has been brewing for months. For you, this is a sudden onset. I know you like it this way. You're kind of like very energetic. You really want to deal with this. It is what it is. And then, from these Zen cards, I'm getting first past lives. This is kind of really interesting card. Look at this, like an hourglass with a whole bunch of kind of like lies behind it. Just like in DNA, we had many ancestors before us. So we see these hands over here. I don't know if you can see them here. And these hands of existence basically form the shape of the female, basically genitals, if you really think about it, right? And this basically signifies the opening of what they call it, cosmic mother. So here there are many images and faces from other times. You know, we always find it entertaining, right, to fantasize about famous past lives. Sometimes we think it's a distraction. I do past lives reading, and it's kind of really interesting. Sometimes we choose one side of the coin, sometimes the other. Right, quite the opposite. One lifetime you are, let's say, a priest. Another lifetime you are basically a thief. So we always like to see both sides to kind of like reach this full kind of like thing. So then we have like these two basically rainbow lizards. They represent knowing and not knowing. These lizards are guardians of the unconscious. They're actually making sure we are kind of prepared. Kind of like, hello, I'm here to wake you up. So this is kind of like what's going to be happening to you. You're going to get this glimpse, just like what it said in this like Earth Oracle cards. That's going to be some kind of understanding of the function of karma. And this is not something that is just like easily grasped. You're literally going to have these like waves that first going to be small and then bigger and bigger. It's going to be that events in your life will show you a pattern, and that you're going to literally take a journey in your own soul. It's going to be an interesting month for you. But then you're ending up with Beyond Illusion. I actually consider this card as well a karma card. So it is like 1, 2, 3 basically that is happening over here. So what do we see here? And I think that most of the readers really don't get this card, because this card is called Judgment in the other decks. In some decks it's called Karma, actually, in the Witch's Tarot deck. Here we actually see the butterfly, which should represent the outer kind of like moving force, and something that is really not real, but sort of that is illusion. Because as you see behind this butterfly, also this can mean freedom, right, and lifting up. So behind this is like this face, and this face you see here is kind of bringing you down from the past, and here this face reveals consciousness. It's kind of like looking inward, kind of like trying to kind of look what else from the past I'm bringing here? What is eternal? The space between these two eyes opened to the third eye. It's revealing this beautiful lotus flower, if you can see it here, right? And that's basically a sign of spiritual unfolding, right? So this card reminds us not to look outside for what is real, but to look within. When we focus on externals, we often get caught up in judgments. So that can be good, this is bad, no, I want this, no, I don't want this, right? So these actual judgments keep us basically trapped in illusions. Maybe we are half asleep at the clock. We keep repeating possibly some old habits. We keep repeating old patterns. So you know that? Keep doing the same things over and over and expecting different results is definition of, yep, insanity. So, especially for your Aries and Aquarius is really kind of like head on with you. We are both opinionated signs, right? So now this is asking of you to drop it and look inside and relax deep inside of you, because you're not going to be let at peace. Yes, ultimately the choice is yours, as always. Free will tops anything. But this is asking you to see this difference between the truth, illusions, and dreams and the reality. So, reality allows you to doubt, and dream doesn't allow you to doubt. So that is kind of like a little tip for you. So, I don't have any mountain to demonstrate what I'm doing over here, and let me see if I can quickly maybe grasp another card that maybe has a mountain in it, so I can kind of quickly tell you what is it I'm trying to accomplish with this different layers of readings over here. Let me see. Anything would do. Okay, just grab the first card here. So this is what we just did. I just told you what you can really accomplish, and oh my god, everything, like the world is your oyster this month. You're going in, you're going out, and you're shifting into something else. So you're reassessing your karma, cleaning the breeze. It's going to be weird, but it's going to get there. Now we're getting on tarot. Tarot is like sort of being somewhere here. It's a spiritual guidance. It's kind of like going to tell us, you see, yeah, I do understand you're going through it, and you can do it this way, you can do it that way, and this is what we see. But strive for this, right? Then we are going to go down to Lenormand, which is somewhere here. We are seeing the lay of the land. We are kind of seeing what's going on. It's kind of giving us a global suggestions and information about our life. And then we are going down to really down and dirty, figure out all the emotions, everything that is going on around, and figure out kind of like day to day to deal with. So why I'm doing the from the top down? Because I really don't want you to get bogged down in day to day. This is really important. You guys have to get, like, you have to lift off. Do not get bogged down in this, like, oh no, another day. No, the time is now, guys. So let's see what is that spiritual guidance happening here for you. Just give me a second. So the bottom of one deck is, whoa, separation, and then underneath is new love, and over here, wow, we have One of Pentacles. So some direction is either wasted, or you don't want to go, or somebody else doesn't want to go, and yet you kind of like really feel linked with this Devil card to some situation that are very unhealthy. So yeah, now I can see the tsunami and shape-shifting. That's what's going to be happening. But let's go into like more details. Give your relationship a chance. Trust. Children. Romantic feelings. Soulmate. Lovely. You deserve love. Express your love. This could be the one. Wedding and engagement. Yeah, okay, let's have the wedding first and then engagement. So let's see what is going on here. There we have it. Okay. What you're bringing from the past to this reading, romantic feelings. And it kind of like it felt maybe starting something, but sort of like maybe it got scattered. Maybe there was not enough focus either from you or from the other party, or maybe you just like still want to enjoy the freedom better than actually getting engaged with someone. But this also is kind of lingering on some kind of separation. Maybe it meant you were not ready, so even though, or maybe you're still having romantic feelings for someone. Okay, actually let me clarify this. Yeah, it was like something that kind of required you looking like for your own star. Look at this, like it's a star lighting the way, kind of like what is important, what is not important. This is talking about when you really go down and try to figure out like what to find in the dark. It just takes one little thing, one little match to kind of like lighten the entire room and to see what is the way out. So there are 2 majors right now. Wow, there are 3 majors. So this is one of my karma cards as well. So this is talking about that things eventually did get balanced or are getting balanced. The Justice card is kind of interesting. The reason why it's called karma is it's telling us that we have to watch, because sometimes we are not the ones who are creating problems, right? But we react, and in that reactivity maybe we create our karma, and we get this like bad karmic debt as a result of it. So it's actually calling for us to kind of like have a control of ourselves and kind of really look deep inside if we want to do that or not. So children and finances, 9 of Pentacles. The children card can talk about your children. That could be somebody else's child or children. It could be pets. It could be a project that are kind of like really intense on our mind, which kind of like does feel this way. It could be some kind of work project and kind of like needing to maybe kind of like put more effort into your work assignments. This also could mean literally kind of working on ourselves and kind of like rebuilding, because Pentacles generally are talking about very earthy substance. It's kind of like rebuilding and what do we do with life, right? So I'm really wondering how much is this connecting to Tsunami, because, well, that's you guys, the Emperor. You are defining yourself. You are becoming something else. This is the Emperor who is now sitting comfortably. When I see this card, it's sure like general meaning is stability and control, kind of like reestablishing yourself, but there's a clarification of this kind of like finances that are sitting in the background, and maybe some plans that maybe fell through, something kind of like didn't go, or somebody either pushed you into kind of like making decisions, maybe you made a bad decision. You're kind of like maybe revisiting a whole bunch of things. Having said that, this Emperor, your card, is saying, what kind of person do you really want to be? What kind of Emperor, like if you have to write history, what kind of person you would like to say you were, right? Because it is actually asking of you that you become this person and stop wasting time. Act on it. So this can literally mean rebuilding yourself and looking at different aspects of your life to do so. So this is very interesting here, because there's still some kind of walls. It says give your relationship a chance, but now you kind of have walls over, you're very guarded over certain things that happened. And it's protective case. You kind of protect yourself, really, but at the same time, nothing is coming in either. You cannot get love if you're protecting yourself, which maybe it's not the right time, because the strength is here, needing to get strength. Look at his 2 8s and walk away from something. So you need to walk away, possibly from something, to give your relationship a chance. That's again, Tsunami is going to kind of really wash out a whole bunch of things. It's going to be a major month for you. Major. Because you'll be cutting off things. You will probably pinpoint a person that you can trust. I think this kind of like does give me the suggestion, because look at this. I have swords, I have swords, I have swords here. Swords are really kind of, and you don't have like easy swords. Swords are never easy. But the three of them that you got here are tough. This in particular, Queen of Swords, is like a person who just removes everything from life that is not needed. Literally, you are not on my list. You're on my do not call list. So you will probably just clean your house. Perfect. Look, it's another 8. Holy smoke. Something got sloppy. In some respect, things got sloppy. You're trying to reconnect with yourself. Here is this High Priestess. This is like really going deep inside. This is like your feeling of knowing a bigger truth, kind of like seeing where you go. Or maybe people who are secretive, who basically didn't support you, who kind of like who are not in your life to kind of help you build your life. You see, this is kind of building blocks, and this is somebody who is like removing those bricks. Remember this kind of game of Jenga? Somebody is like removing these blocks from the bottom, and you're slipping as a result of it. So you'll be actually finding who to trust. And I think this is possibly the key this month, and that's why the shape shifting is going to be really important for you. So you're going to see how different people will react. Sometimes when we kind of try different things in life, you try a different fashion statement, then some people will really try to poo-poo you and put you down, and of course, how did you dare to try something else? It's kind of also interesting to see. Sure, as you notice, I allow people to have all kinds of opinions on my channel, but the truth is everything can be done in a respectful way. And as long as we have like good discussion, it's all good. The moment when this becomes kind of like insult or something, then this is not good. And this is going to go back to what kind of person you want to be and how will you react to this kind of situation. So just like remember that when it comes to that, because you're rebuilding yourself. You have to imagine yourself as a little child this month, because your soul is getting rebuilt. You know that you have this physical body you have to deal with, but you are getting a new you within yourself. Here again, there is a soulmate, somebody who is a soulmate, but things are really tough. Are things tough with your soulmate, or are things tough for you? The third party. This is this card. The Moon card in this deck is basically past lives here. In this deck, it's one of the karmic cards, but it isn't in this deck. This is telling me that some secrets about the third party or some kind of involvement are going to come out, or they're going to be too hard to carry. I think you're going to confess, because I see it here, or some kind of confession or explanation is going to take place this month. And it could be part of your cleanse. You're going to go literally like, oh my gosh, I don't care. Let's spell everything out. And what it is who stays, stays. You're just like, you know what? You're not going to play pokers with sweaty palms anymore. I kind of like need to start. I need to feel fresh. It's literally like going through, not necessarily bankruptcy. Like when you bankruptcy, you lose everything. But you're going to keep what you deem important and move up from that point. Because here, I see on some level, you feel stuck. You feel like, where is that love? Why is it that my life is not getting this love? Look at this like bow and arrow. But you also understand that you're lovable. So now, kind of looking at the shape shifting, you're going to wonder how much of it is you? How much of it is your perception? How much of it is the other people? How do they see you? And what can be done on that level? Woohoo! Oh my gosh, guys, you really have so much fun. Make sure you're not around me. And now my brother is Aries. I'll be very careful in communication with him this month. Let me put it this way. Okay, ultimately, is getting grounded. 6 of Pentacles is give and take. it's kind of understanding that this flow around has to happen, and if you get this fearful, something will happen to shake it down. This is again talking about if something hasn't been built properly, it's going to be such a big shakedown, such as an event that can happen. It can be also some really big epiphany when you go, oh my god, how did I not get it before? And this is when this shape shifting happens. You kind of like start building it properly. And you see, look at this. This is building where everybody can share their toys. This is really talking about give and take when you see this. So again, what kind of person you want to be? Do you want to keep secrets? Do you want to be transparent? If you want balance in your life, you have to give balance in your life. So everything is happening, is brewing. You're actually already starting with this process, and there were small ways up to this point. There was, the few of you had maybe somebody, or have somebody that maybe there were like minor issues with partnership. Maybe there were major issues. Maybe there were misunderstandings. When Five of Wands appears, especially in this position, which is like your own feelings and how you perceive the world, on one hand, you want to express your love and be romantic. On the other hand, you kind of like still feel, oh my gosh, I just don't have time or patience for this. It's like so much talking and we are not getting anywhere, kind of a card. I don't know, it's either you or somebody else juggling something. This could be two people. Generally talks about choice of two, right? So it could be two people, but it could be between life and work. It could be between surviving. It could be between which bill do I pay, right? It is like simply feeling unable to do all that needs to be done. You know, like it's just like, oh my gosh, this day should have like 60 hours for me to do everything. And I certainly feel sometimes like that. And then hence feeling really stuck. Knave of Pentacles. In the end, just by thinking about everything that is in front of you, might feel like kind of really tired and exhausted. But this is not a month that you can actually afford to just lie down and just do nothing, because you really have to move forward. It could be, this could be the one, but certain kind of visions are not happening with this person. There are no goals. With partnership, you have to have common goals for this to ever kind of take place. Otherwise, you're just drifting on the ocean. And it looks like you're going to pay attention to this. The Magician is like 1. You are the sign number 1 in horoscope. So this talks about, wait a minute, I actually already have it inside of me. I just have to tap into my own resources and kind of figure out how to do it. That's right. You're waking up. Wow, this is great. And you are communicating this to your environment. I am a new you. This Magician, when you see it, it's very spiritual. It's just like the DNA karma. It looks like that, again, something didn't work out. And you're saying, that's it. Okay, fine. I lost the ships. I made some kind of investments. It didn't work out. But I'm investing into myself right now. And I have to pay attention to myself. And then again, we have Ace of Wands. And a wedding. So now, this is kind of very general card, and I don't like. So what? The wedding shows up in the reading. So like, guys, you're going to get married. Well, marriage is like just the beginning of something else. So sure, it's not the destination. It's just like I'm in station. So it talks about maybe that you do want to marry somebody. Maybe you are meeting somebody, because I'm seeing that you're putting yourself on such a good ground, balancing your life, that obviously that probably would make you a really good candidate for getting married. Maybe you have somebody in mind, because here you had, this could be the one, and here you had soulmate. But you had issues with this person. You were not expressing your love. Instead, you were arguing with this person. And maybe you yourself didn't feel lovable. But then this is changing. This goes in fears and hopes. And they're both really good. So maybe you're redefining your own attitude toward marriage. Maybe you're realizing, oh, wait a minute, I can actually make it work. Because look, there is like the tree that is sprouting from basically some old kind of trunk over here. This is talking about balancing your emotions and getting in touch with who you are. Or it could talk about somebody you have been with and you're not with, but this person is still present and there's like still some kind of passion. Queen of Cups and King of Cups, which kind of like talks about somebody softer, somebody who likes pets, somebody who really helps you resolve your fears, because this is a big push. This is like very much Aries like push, just like what we have here in this Magician, even though this is even fiercer because the Magician is like air sign and you are like fire sign, and air is even faster than fire, but fire is like more pragmatic than air, so hence actually accomplishes more. So here it is like looking into something that is still existing in life, in some kind of couplehood. And here is this explanation card, engagement. It says your life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Maybe somebody from the past is coming back. Maybe you are reaching the closure that you need to reach. Maybe you are getting explanation or explaining something yourself. Maybe you're receiving apology or giving apology. This is a, by the way, wife card. Somebody is going to decide something for you. Again, we have this 2. So there is like still the level of indecision, and keep in mind that each time this month you're getting to get stuck in a rut when you're going to feel this fear, or when somebody's going to make decisions for you. It could be somebody, this is the wife card or husband card, it's the mate card. Or maybe you need this from your mate. And maybe you're not going to get it. Or you're going to give it to your mate and they will go, yuck. Maybe, whatever. The point is like, you don't have to worry about what other people think and what other people will do, what other people, how will they react. You have to just like really worry about your own thing and how you do things. So, horoscope signs, I see a lot, and when I see lots of signs, it generally means like a whole bunch of energies, which basically go down to you, that those energies, of course, all 4 elements influence us. But I see Libra, I see Virgo, I see another Aries, I see Pisces, I see Scorpio, I see a Leo, Pisces again. I even see the earth sign, in particular could be Capricorn. So it's going to be interesting, guys, because here you're getting the extra dose of Mars in addition to this tsunami. So, wow, I really, really want to see what's going to happen this month. So yeah, I would love to hear your comments. So now we are going that kind of like down this mountain to Lenormand, and Lenormand is going to give us kind of like sort of like more or less a general reading, and it can actually see the other elements that could be really important in your life. So I'm not going to bother you, so you have to watch me lay down 32 cards, but instead I'm just going to click when all of them are on the table. Okay, so we have Lenormand here, guys. So how this works, we do have 2 main significators and some other cards that signify people as well. So there's the lady and there's the gentleman. Either of them can be you. The interesting part, both of them are on the bottom of this. One is in a karma card, in a cross card. Over here, again, we get this like repetition. It's really, really coming on strongly. So see, for some of you, is that wedding card that we had. Look at this, the heart, the ring. Somebody from the past. Somebody with whom you had lots of problems and the solutions to problems just didn't happen. So I see here something started, something didn't continue, maybe run into huge problems. But there are these crossroads here. There's like something happening here. So you literally have a good trajectory. You're going to put your anchor down, tsunami or not tsunami. You see, the sky is cutting the child. The sentence sounds weird, I know, but this literally means that something possibly old, something that is still sprouting, is being cut off. You will be cutting people out of your life. And look at it, the snake and the whip together. There's certainly, with the partner or this person of interest, there is like there is sexual interest, but there is also a feeling of, okay, you know, this kind of arguing. There is so much happening. You have this fox. This also could mean a job or new job, relocation. But then it could be the end of the job, something that is going to happen down the road. This could also mean kind of like moving, putting the anchor down in some kind of new house. And as early as maybe next month, you're going to start planning about that. There is like still love and loyalty for somebody here. There was some kind of like love messages in August, but there were also obstacles. This was somebody from the past, but somebody who is really important. There is still communication going on, but you also have a big question mark if you want to continue the crossroads. And see, the cards will go up, so I really don't see what is going on there. But one crossroad is like to cutting the old. Another crossroad is getting healthy. It could be also somebody like, yeah, again, I see somebody maybe long distance here as well. So guys, it's ultimately going to be good. Some of you may be moving. Some of you may move and get a new job, and this is going to be a temporary job. It's going to work out into something else. The interesting part here in this reading is like this very last basically column, the coffin, the sun, the cross, the garden. You have the moon and the sun, but then you have the cross and the coffin. So why is the sun kind of like squished between the two kind of like negative cards? So is something going to die or something going to get clarity? It could mean both, right? Just like what we saw, you are kind of like redefining yourself to some extent. But it's actually ultimately going to make you happy. You have both the clover in the future and the bouquet in the future. This move is going to be very good for you, really, really good. So this child could mean that inner child, kind of like cutting off things that are not working and kind of like nourishing things that do work, because the bouquet means, after all, something just appears out of the basically nowhere to kind of like serve as a surprise. So there will be lots of communication that you guys will have. Very similar to what you had in August. But again, remember how you had this trust card. There is the snake. Who can you trust, right? The loyalty. You will pick somebody. You'll pick somebody, and it looks like you'll pick this one person who is a karmic connection for you, and this is certainly the truth. And this person can guide you out to the sun, and maybe this coffin means that certain things have to end, just like what you had in the Tower and Tsunami card, because this keeps repeating, guys, for you. Okay, so before I start Gypsy, let's go with a question. So how this works, you're going to have door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3. So think of a question right now, guys, and even for those of you who are cross-watching, you also can ask a question. I have already prepared 3 categories. How do we want it? Doesn't matter. Let's do it this way. And okay, guys, ask your question. And this is going to be answer number 1 if you pick this file, answer number 2, and answer number 3. Answer number 1, we have the Lovers reversed and 10 of Earth reversed. So again, with this question, there is a lack of unity. This is a lack of being on the same page. This is lack of understanding that it takes a little bit more, like 2 people should mean 1 + 1 means 3, not 1 + 1 means 2, because that's not a good relationship. It could be some disturbance in a family life, because like 10 of Earth talks about lineage and talks about where am I going with this, how do I go there. But it's certainly end of one phase and the beginning of the other. It could be some hesitancy in here, but certainly I see here person thinking, is this the right option for me? How do I go from here? Is this the person that I'm choosing? Can I see myself with this person? The door number 2 answer is, we have Ace of Cups, we have 7 of Cups, and we have Page of Swords. Well, Ace of Cups is generally a potential if it's upright. When it's reversed, talks about, I kind of like don't see potential in somebody or in something, or you know, I still kind of have to explore different options, because here, look, there is a choice of a whole bunch of things. What else can I think of? And then ultimately kind of like really going toward, this is again cutting off things that are not working out. So this is going, you need to reach a higher level of clarity for this to happen. Like both of them are sort of like sitting on the fence. Both of them are really kind of thinking more about those answers. So it's not a definite yes, it's not a definite no. But here is going to be lots of communication. This is more like internal thinking. And the door number 3, we have 4 of Cups, and then we have 8 of Swords, what you had in your reading. So 4 of Cups is the card of boredom or luxury. You see, it's inactivity. Like so many things have been offered to someone and someone is just like rejecting them. So be very careful. If this is you, people just may kind of like isolate you. If you are being kind of like isolated, then you have to figure out what are your fears and face them. This also cards is the card of luxury, like when you have so much that you can just keep rejecting things, right? And then want to next and next and next. Now also you have to ask yourself if you're picky and what is it you really want, right? And are you possibly fearing what you're wanting? Because this is usually how we don't get it. Like we sometimes want, well, we want to, I don't know, whatever you want to lose weight, but then you don't do steps to do it. So of course you're fearing that you're going to fail, and hence it becomes like, I mean, something that is inevitable to happen. So I guess because Tsunami is going to be very powerful, there will be shape shifting in terms of thinking, and hence this is like reflecting in these choices as well. Okay, so I'm going to click back when I put all 52 gypsy cards on the table. Alright guys, so grand tableau gypsy spread. So what do we have here? There are like way many more significers. So let me show you. This is the Lord. The Lord would be a professional, possibly married guy, or somebody who is in a relationship, or somebody who has a higher statue. Then we have a foe, which could be us. We can be enemy to ourselves. Then we have a young woman, which can be just simply young woman, or can also mean a child. There is a sweetheart, which can represent all of us seekers. So also it can be more than one. Keep in mind there is an enemy, which also again can be a male enemy. It could be an ex-partner as well. We have a wife over here, which of course it can indicate somebody in a relationship, or it can actually indicate somebody with children. But actually I have seen this also being showing up as a significator for single women who have no children. And then we have a lover. And lover is basically sometimes single male, but then again it can be any one of us. So I'm going to give you a kind of like few things, and again it shows that something might kind of go upside down. The fortune can be misplaced for this new journey to start. It talks about redefining something. Some of you are going to say, look, I am living a lie, I need to be cheerful, I want to be cheerful. And there is like this wedding card here again appearing with those of you, especially for those of you who are married. You're going to redefine this whole deal. Some of you might even think that you need to get out. That was kind of a separation that we have seen. It's going to be kind of lots of things, because look, you have here the falseness and a foe that's in this trajectory, and yet it somehow is not going to bother you too much. Kind of again, things from the past will be coming to the surface, just like as we have seen it in the other spreads. So we see this wedding here, right? And then merchant that talks about, okay, so it could be also something, some kind of deal that is brewing, but here is the prison reversed, kind of getting out of prison, which also means getting out of marriage. And then love and thief. So it could be that there was some kind of secrets, there was like some kind of like interference for sure, and it could be that it was a third party already here. But ultimately, it looks like this is kind of like a situation is going to end up okay, landing on its feet. It's kind of really weird because, look, it shows surprise, something's really going to great happen, and then again, somebody's falling back into their old patterns. Now, it looks like some of you really want reunion. Some of you kind of like want to be happy, but you don't really know where your home is, where your heart is, what makes you joyful. Do you really want to be married? And this is kind of like a part of that much bigger pattern. Kind of like you feel the life is kind of like sweeping you off your feet. But ultimately, you see here you have misfortune reverse, so somehow things are starting to look up. And you see this is around this gentleman over here, kind of like finding the way, finding a new way to communicate, finding a new way out. But sort of like it's going to be toward the end of the month. Kind of like lots of things happening and going from up to down. You see, this person here, and again, is going through a whole bunch of things, like maybe dealing with the exes, kind of thinking through it or not thinking through it, feeling jealous, feeling desperate. It's going to be literally spectrum of emotion, not one. The most interesting part about this reading is the card in the middle of it, which is the friend. You guys need to be a friend to yourself. And I think you really kind of like, through all this kind of like, I wouldn't say turmoil, this is literally cleanse. You're going on a spiritual level. Look, here's a child. Remember how basically you had in Lenormand, the child's getting cut off? Same thing here. Something that has existed previously is being cut off, and then this kind of like makes you feel sick and jealous and despair. Kind of like a whole bunch of things going on here. But this can also mean going into counseling, but maybe kind of like almost being pushed into the counseling here. Somebody younger might be influencing you to go and do that. Or maybe you have a daughter that is a part of the conversation. But ultimately, the very bottom of the deck is journey. And the middle of the deck is friend. And the friend was like right next to this foe. So you guys are dealing, am I a friend or foe? This month, literally. Certain things are still not buried. Certain things you're still mulling it over. You think, guys, that you can wing it. You are hoping for the best, literally. There is going to be even talk about, for some of you, about reunion, but there is like still this kind of like this third person hanging on and something is not really working out. So this is kind of like this upheaval that I'm seeing happening. And I think these two cards, these three cards are the key cards. So to get out from all these issues that will be happening, from the past coming back to the surface, to be dealt with, to kind of like not to be illusion anymore, because like all the cards are reversed, all of them. Not a single significator is feeling solid on their feet, which tells me there is like this huge change happening. So of course, if you're kind of redefining yourself to something else, it's kind of hard to know. And maybe you're shifting this, and that's why we're seeing with some people, it's going to be a pleasant surprise. With other people, it's going to be like a minute you realize that really, truly they are your enemy. So it's going to be really interesting to read your comments this month, and I really welcome them. I really want to know what is going on. So to seal your reading, guys, I pull one more card here from my enchanted map. Interestingly, this card was like 47, and this is also a spiritual card because 4 and 7 makes 11, and 7 in itself is a spiritual number, and 4 means building new things, and 11 together is like higher learning, kind of like almost like this means wake up call. And this is what it says: Sacred Pool. The world is a reflection of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Embody the love you wish to see in the world. When you look into the mirror, do you like what you see? The Sacred Pool card asks that you focus on self-love and self-esteem. We are all works in progress, so detached self-examination made with rigorous honesty is called for now. Reflect by the sacred pool and be at peace with yourself. Can you see how far you've come and how magical your life is? Do you notice the spark of the divine shining through your eyes? When you're conscious that your embodiment of spirit, it becomes easier to respect yourself and act in good conscience. Then you'll reap the greatest rewards. Your unique service to the world is not only needed, but celebrated. See the love within you and know that if you cast it upon the waters, it will return to you tenfold. Be at peace, for you are beautiful and loved. Act with surety and confidence, and success shall be yours, whatever your inquiry. So yeah, guys, this lift up is happening, and this is kind of like linking to tarot. You deserve love card. So you're literally ripping everything off that didn't really work, and you're examining what is the new strategy to do it. So Aries, this is a general reading, so you can't expect that everything just be just for you, because there are many other Aries who are also having active lives. So to get your private reading, please contact me via my website, cattarot.ca. And also, I mean, let's communicate via like comments or via Facebook. So please kind of like tell me what you think and join Facebook as well. And please like, share, and subscribe. That always means a lot to me as well. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was not way too long for you. And I want to know what you think about this like 3-card kind of like, I mean, segment. If it's too much or it's not too much, I'm still trying to make this shorter. But, you know, your comments are more than welcome. Have an interesting month. I will not say great month, because it's going to be up and down and up and down. You guys are going to be really different. So, wish you all the best, and you know that I love you and I'm here for you.